Okay, writers, so sometimes the hardest part about doing the work that we've learned on the rug is just kind of getting started. So we're gonna try to just get started. You're gonna go to the spot that you put your finger on during the lesson to start revising, okay? Making sure to trying to add in what your character would really say, the tone of voice, and the actions. What are their hand movements and body language? And I'm gonna coach into you guys to help you, support you. So I'm gonna give you a revising paper for you to start that revision work on your own right now.
Wait, should we write the whole new page for it?
Just that part, remember how I did it? Why don't you look at what I did? You see how I had a revision piece of paper and I rewrote it on another piece of paper? Just that part, that's what I want you to do.
Okay. I can't think of anything to
Okay, I'm coming over. So this is the part you chose?
Yeah.
So what's going on in this moment right now?
They're running into the cafeteria, like her class, and the whole class is chattering, and I can't think of anything to write, like what they're saying.
So maybe this isn't a great spot for you to do this, and I know this is really, really hard work. You want to be thinking about where's a spot where my character needs to be speaking, where my character should be speaking. So why don't you read through the first page and see where should my character be speaking? Okay, I'm gonna leave you and come back to you, okay? Because I see you have what he's saying. So what's his tone of voice? How is he saying that?
Like, kinda happy.
Okay, he's saying it. So what's another word for happy? Do you think that he said it? How? How did he say it?
Excited.
Oh, okay. So you could write that he was excited. And what kind of gestures would you put in? What's the action he might be doing with his body?
Like when...
As he's saying this, can you picture it in your mind? Close your eyes, paint a picture. I know this is really hard work. Close your eyes, paint a picture, and try to picture it, and I'm gonna come back to you, okay? And then feel free to write when you're ready. Okay, what part are you revising?
I'm revising the dialogue of, like, not a good surfer, you are the worst one.
Nolan, how are we doing, sweetie?
Okay.
I don't want to go down. It will be fine, James said in a really soft voice. Oh my gosh, you are getting this. Go back to your seat and keep writing. You're doing a great job. You're getting it now. Did you find a spot in your story?
Over here, I'm just revising this because it just says,
What's this?
Zelda Amber asked.
So you're revising the tone of voice?
Yeah.
What's Girl, you're ready. Go off to your seat. You got this.
So guys, I pulled you here today because I noticed that in your writing, you guys are doing a really great job summarizing your stories. And so I think right now you guys are up for a challenge. Do you guys think you're up for some really hard work and you're challenging some stuff? Yeah, I do too. So today what I want you to try to do is I want to have you look at your stories and I want you to try to tell them like a storyteller. Okay? So what I mean by that is we should be telling our story using a storyteller's voice. Okay? And to do that, we have to put ourselves in our character's shoes. Okay? And so right now, I want you to go back to your own writing pieces and find a place in your story where you think you are summarizing. And let's just remember, we did this work in 3rd grade. So you can think about, what am I doing when I'm summarizing? And put your finger on that somewhere in your piece. Okay, Leo found a spot. Great, just read it over in your head. That part. Sometimes if we're stuck, sometimes in the beginning of our story, we might get, that's where we start to summarize because we have trouble starting our story. So if you're stuck, you can always go to the beginning of your story and try to look to see if you're summarizing there. All right. Nolan found his. Did we find some? Good? Okay. All right, so with your partner, I want you to act out that part remembering all the good things that we know about narrative writing, okay? And what narrative writing looks like. So I want us to look to our chart because we've done this work already this year, okay? And one way that we can make our summarizing go to storytelling is by using dialogue, internal thinking, small action, and setting, okay? And that's a good way to go back to those strategies and use them in your own writing, and that will help us go from summarizing our story to storytelling our story, okay? So right now, I want you to act your part out that you pointed to in your story, and you're gonna act it out with your partner using dialogue, internal thinking, small action, and setting. Okay, so partner one, you go first and you start to act it out, and then partner two will give feedback and tell them how they can maybe improve it. Okay, do you guys think you can get started on that hard work? All right, I'm gonna be back to check on you to see how you guys do with acting it out. Okay, get started. Listen, I can just act. You ready?
Yeah. Okay. Gee, that's the worst team ever. You're totally going to lose. My team's the best. You're totally going to win, for sure. As they got on one boat, as they were in the middle, they saw a shark fin. And Drake almost fell off by the time because his heart was thumping so hard that he could hear it.
Missing like some internal thinking and small action setting, because I can envision like they're talking, but it's like I don't really know where they are.
Okay. Okay. Writers, can I have your eyes and ears for a minute? I just want you guys to take a look at how one of your classmates used the lesson today and revised her dialogue by adding in what her character would really say, the tone of voice her character used, and the specific action she used. So Tasneem, can you come up and share what it looked like before and what it looks like now, and read it to the class? All eyes are on Tasneem. Go ahead and put it under the document camera so everyone can see that part, sweetie. Perfect.
Before, I only had no, said Sabrina. And now I put no, cried Sabrina. No, I really want to go to Myra's slumber party. Sabrina cried in between sniffs, covering her eyes to hide the tears. Go to your room and think of what you want to choose. I'll call you for supper, Mom replied in a soft, calm voice.
Tasneem, I loved how you used the tone of voice, specific actions, and you didn't just do it in one place, you did it in more than one place. So writers, you don't have to clap, but that was sweet. Writers, you can be doing exactly what Tasneem is doing, and I see most of you are. Fantastic. Thank you, Tasneem. Go ahead. Okay, back to work, writers. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, how are we doing?
Okay. All right, I need you to sit crisscross and come together with me. Okay. So my little actors. So now you've been acting out your parts that you were summarizing to add in your storytelling voice. But right now is the tricky part. You guys did such a good job acting. Now the tricky part is getting our storytelling voice onto our paper so we can revise those parts. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys fresh new drafting paper so you can go back and revise your parts, adding in your dialogue, internal thinking, small action, and setting to storytell your part onto your paper. okay? So why don't you get started doing that if you feel like you can get started revising that on your paper. Can you show me the original part that this came from?
Well, the original part was this part.
When Drake was sleeping, he heard his bedroom door creak open.
Yeah.
It's actually like a rocket.
This is when he came back from a haunted house, and his sister wanted him to he has an older sister, and she's trying to get him to get a little toughened up with haunted houses and stuff. So she's trying to scare him in his sleep, and he automatically knows who it is. But in this story, I'm gonna put it he doesn't really know who it is yet. Until he finds out face to face.
So remember, you have to put yourself in your character's shoes, in Drake's shoes, and you're gonna go through that moment with it. You're gonna write. I already can tell you're already including the setting because I hear when he was sleeping, he heard his doorknob squeak. I like how you're slowing it down. You're telling me where he is. He's probably in a room, right? In his bedroom, and the door is opening. You're giving me setting clues, just like you did that with setting clues. Maybe we can try that with dialogue soon.
Okay.
Also, to help us storytell onto the paper. Does your character have any dialogue that's going to come out soon?
Well, yeah. So he's his heart. He's saying his heart is beating so fast that it's beating 2 seconds, 3 times every 1 second, sort of.
So you're doing small action to show that his heart is racing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, so now let's try to get those words that you just told me onto the paper, and I'll be back to check on you shortly, okay? Okay, Noah, I'm going to stop you for a second. Okay, so I'm noticing as you're writing this, you're really, really trying super hard to come up and use that internal thinking in your piece. But one way to make it a little bit more smoother is you have to put yourself in James's shoes. So I want you to say James thought to himself instead of James's thinking. James's thinking is summarizing it. If we say James thought to himself that there is no heights, it'll be easy and fun. Okay? That's showing you in James's shoes. So do you think you can go back and try to put yourself in James's shoes and revise that so it's more storytelling? Do you see the difference? If you're a little confused, you can always look at Ellie's. Let's read Ellie's together. This is Ellie's story, and she did a really good job of using setting, dialogue, small action, and internal thinking all in one piece. So let's just read it together. Scrubby-dub, squish, slop, scrub. The sink groaned as Julie was doing the dishes, feeling very optimistic about the day ahead. Relax, Julie, her mother exclaimed, kind of confused. You usually hate doing the dishes. Why are you so psyched about doing them today? No reason, Julie answered. When Julie was done, she plopped down onto the couch and snuggled up with a book. Do you see how when Ellie did that, you felt like you were with her character? She put herself in her character Julie's shoes. Do you think you can try to put yourself in James's shoes and kind of pretend that you are James going through the story of going to the park and getting ready to go on this, is it a water slide?
No, it's a tube.
It's a tube ride. So that's a pretty fun thing. It's not too hard to put yourself in those shoes. All right, so let's try that. let's try to just start over again. So how would you say that? So you're in James's shoes, so I want you to story tell it to me. So I'm gonna summarize it first, and then I'm gonna have you story tell, okay? So James is getting ready to go on the water slide, and he's really scared. Okay, so can you try to story tell it to me in the moment? So what's he doing in that moment?
James is online going up to the water slide on the steps.
How is he going up the steps?
Every step he takes, maybe he goes slower and slower.
Let's put that on the paper. James is climbing the steps. With each step, he's going slower and slower. Okay. You're already jumping right into storytelling. I am so impressed with this work. This is really hard. What could he be thinking here if he's going up each step slower and slower and slower? What might he be thinking?
Maybe I
Thought?
thought that he was going to die, maybe.
Okay, we can write that down. He thought to himself. What did he see when he was climbing up the steps to this tubing?
He saw it getting higher and higher.
So what might he be seeing out over if you're just climbing up? What might he be looking at?
Like the mountain.
Yeah, he's getting higher and higher, and what might be happening to the people below?
Like they're becoming ants.
They're looking like ants, so we could say that maybe he will look down. So you're going to keep doing this great storytelling work that you're doing right now. Do you see how this is storytelling and not summarizing now that you have yourself in your character's shoes? Remember, you can always stop and ask yourself, what was my character seeing to help you with setting? What was my character thinking to help you with what he was internally thinking? You can say, what was my character saying, or what were the people around him saying to help yourself storytell onto the paper? So what do you think your next step's going to be? A question that you ask yourself.
How am I gonna survive this thing, maybe?
Okay, so you can start getting that on paper. Okay, great job, Nolan.
Writers, can you put your pencils down and meet me on the rug with nothing in your hands in your rug spots? Writers, right now, I want you to think about what you learned today. Turn and tell your partner what you learned today.
I'll use some small action. What I did was when Mike said was I used the storytelling voice. I'm not your best friend anymore.
So writers, who can share with us what you learned today? Adona? In a nice loud voice so I can hear you.
I learned that that dialogue and action, like action, it kind of helps you and the dialogue, it helps you know how the character is saying, like the voice, how the character is feeling, how the character is saying. Well, I learned to use dialogue, I used action in my dialogue tags a lot, and like how the character is saying something when they say it, and like how other characters respond.
Okay, fantastic work, guys. You did such a wonderful job today, including revising your dialogue by adding in what your character would say, the tone of voice your character used, and the specific actions your character did. So you did a fantastic work. Thank you so much, guys. And remember that every time you go back and do your writing, this is a strategy you can always use in revision to lift the level of your dialogue and the level of your story. In addition to using the qualities of good narrative writing to work on your goals. Okay? Fantastic job, guys.